saying something ill of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, this one's more like an exploration of madness than anything.
Yeah.
I really want to see it.
I wasn't that impressed with the trailers, but maybe the movie's good.
Yeah.
Avi, I can see only your forehead again and your daughter's ornaments. Much better.
Ballerina? Show off his best feature. Come on.
Can I ask a quick question or a couple questions?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yes, but only that one. That was your one question.
Okay, go ahead. The last time we played, I was in Saskatoon. I didn't have my papers. We had started that session with full everything, right?
I think so, yes. I think you simply joined Vandar's ride, in which you were full on.
I think we're
okay, and I don't think I got hit, and I think I only cast one spell. Like I only cast Suggestion, I believe.
You did use Suggestion on
the son, the prince.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I've got the right spell slots.
Just to let you
everything
know,
else taken care of.
This has vodka in it, so if I get
perfect.
funny.
Gonna be a good game.
Good idea.
Well, maybe you will get funny now. That'd be a nice change.
Oh.
Wow. What the? What was that?
Call the burn unit. Call the burn unit.
Where did that
was uncalled for.
come from? Like, right under the floor here.
He's not a part of this party. He's just standing there.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been on my best behavior for like 5 years with you guys.
Oh, and now you show us your true nature. Okay.
James can tell you.
Run away.
You see what raising kids do to you? I'm telling you, it's a couple of months with one of those devils. And,
it's connected.
Okay.
How is WoW going for you, Emiliano?
Yeah.
So, down to a trickle for me.
Yeah. So let's start because we probably don't have a lot of time. Oh, what happened?
We lost Brian, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he mentioned something. I just heard him say something about disconnected or something. Didn't quite catch all of it.
Okay.
And his camera froze.
He said something about aliens, and then the camera froze.
Like, oh no, the FBI is onto me.
Hide the money, and then it cut off.
Flush the drugs. Flush the drugs.
Where's my super suit? And then he just like gets it here. So yeah, Keenan, my friends are like level 40 something, and I'm like in the 30s, and this weekend I just haven't had much time, so I don't know. I might subscribe again in the future, but don't got the time.
Okay.
I wanna GM RPGs again. I haven't played in a really long time, so I might find a group.
Yeah,
the next...
like really play, because this doesn't really count. This is
it's not real.
This is just some.
This is
pretend.
Barely like scratching the itch. I need more.
Set up all-day sessions with your friends. It's fun. It's totally not exhausting, and you want to die afterward. No, it's great. And
yeah, but then you have so much to talk about.
We have like scheduled breaks. We're like, now we start, then we don't do any other talking, and then we take a break like 6 hours later, or 5 hours later, or whatever, and try to keep the chatter to a minimum about that whatever movie and what you did last week. And it's been working so far. Before where we just every now and then we just went over some tangent like, oh yeah, that movie or that thing happened last week, and let's discuss politics or religion or yeah.
2 hours later.
2 hours later, yeah. Everybody was screaming and nobody agreed on anything, and
a regular D&D session.
Yeah. but
didn't roll any dice.
Yeah, but we haven't been doing that after we started making like serious role-playing game, and then breaks every now and then where we can talk about whatever.
Hmm.
So that's
Nice.
actually a good thing to do. In longer sessions, if you only play for like 2 to 3 hours, then
Yeah.
only take like a 5 minutes pee break.
Yeah.
Yeah, warm-ups are probably important.
I actually have a session, like a long session, scheduled for 2 weeks from now. Like next week, I'm in Rome, and the week after that, my wife actually allowed me to play. There is a holiday in Israel, so it's a full day, and we're meeting at something like 10 a.m. at one of our friends' house, and we're pulling like a long one, like until the
okay.
evening.
Ah.
Yeah, should be
That
interesting.
sounds nice.
That is fun.
Yeah.
We started like 11 a.m. and then we stopped at like it was about 11 this time. We were all pretty
Wow.
tired.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, with breaks for food and just hanging out talking.
Yeah, it's fun. I haven't had such a session since I was actually a kid or something like that. So it should be interesting to test my my physique. Am I
Your stamina.
Just stamina.
my stamina?
Remember to roll well on your constitution saves.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so since we have kids asleep and about to wake up, let's start. Brian, are you with us? I mean, you're in and out.
He was. I think he's there.
He's back now.
Video's back.
Yeah, you're here.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in and out. Something's wrong. Keep going.
Okay. I will. Okay, so during the last session, you have all explored Iron Slag. This is the fire giant citadel that was built to construct the Vanidad. This is a monumental construct. The giants, led by Duke Zalto, are basically preparing to take on something. I'm not sure if he told you what he is trying to take on with this creation, but you know that in his citadel there are several guests. One of them is a draw woman who is part of a scheme to steal Magera, the Dawn Titan. This creature was stolen from Guntelgrim, the ancient homeland of the dwarves in the north. It was put into this small flask, which Vandar, your friend from Bryn Shander, brought along with him as he was taking you along the way to Helmshold. He basically made a small stop at Iron Slag, handed the flask, but then Duke Zalto kind of looked at you and said, "Oh no, you're staying for dinner." And you have used the time to explore the castle, found that there are some dwarven slaves involved. They operate this whole castle, which is basically built around a mine with a massive forge. They are creating material that are used to construct this Vanidad. And you manage to overcome their how is it called? Their guard? Not guard. There's probably a better word for it.
The jailer?
The jailer. Yes, thank you. So you have overcome their jailer and basically freed them. Told them, "Wait, we'll give you a sign, and then you'll charge on." You also had an interesting encounter with what is his name? Keep forgetting it. With Zalt Amber, Duke Zalto's son. He spotted ForGar conveying with this tiny fairy dragon. So that was an interesting encounter there, but you have managed to kind of, wave your way out of it. And if I remember correctly, we stopped last session with you approaching the table, with everyone present, the dwarf, the giant, his kids, and exactly when you sat down, the Illithid Vostarava floated into the room, whispered something at the king's ear, at the duke's ear, and we stopped at that point. Am I correct? Am I missing something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is.
that's first time.
And I do believe he mentioned that he was going to use the destroyer, whatever golem thingy they're making, to fight the
The dragons.
The dragons, right? But yeah, he didn't say anything besides that, right? Only
No,
okay.
as far as I remember, at least.
Yeah. So he did say that he will test this this device on the dragons, but maybe you'll find out more as we go along. So,
Any chance we're able to hear what this Illithid was whispering?
that's actually a good question. Make a perception check.
Right. So. Uh, 15.
A 15 is, excuse me, not so bad actually. You hear something along the lines of, it is ready. Something about something being ready.
Okay.
And the Duke motions to all of you to sit down. His guests sit down, including the draw woman, but she's eyeing the Illithid like she isn't very happy with it. You can see that the flask is being laid on top of the forge. I'll point it. Wait, I'll take you to the correct map on Roll20. So the flask is right here on the forge, on top of it, and the dinner table is just in front of the Vonidot. So from left to right, starting around here. Okay, so from left to right, between the poles, basically. This is the table. You're all set around it. The king's back. The Duke's back is to the forge, and all of the guests are set in front of him.
Do you guys remember? Was there a word, a signal that we were gonna give the dwarves for them to enter or attack?
Yeah, they'd know it.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, good planning.
Which is also why they were all ready to go when the dinner bell rang. Oh, this is the symbol.
We were there to stop them when the dinner bell rang, I think.
All right.
Okay. Did the Duke did he have like a special expression when he heard that he is ready or whatever is ready?
Roll your insight.
Okay. That's better. Insight. Okay, it's 21.
So he seemed relieved and maybe eager. Like, oh, that's good.
Okay.
Are there any dwarven servants here?
No dwarven servants. You have spotted, like I think it was last session, the Duke's mace is basically leaning next to the on the wall next to the forge, and inside of its head, the head is hollow. It's built like a cage, and inside of it you can see a dwarf wearing black, kind of slumped against one of the edges of this cage. So this is the only dwarf in the vicinity. There are many goblins serving you, all with a British accent and like tiny mustaches, like beautifully dressed with white gloves and everything. So they even smell good. And there are the draw. Vandar is there. and some of I mean the Duke's family, obviously. So it's the Duke, his wife, the Duchess Brimskarda, Cinderhill. She's wearing a dress and she looks unhappy, and Zaltamber, who constantly points at her, winking to Quarian, I think, who agreed to set her dress on fire.
Yeah, that's right. So
there are two fire giant guards standing nearby.
All right. How far am I from the Duke's son?
As far as you want to be.
I'd like to, if I can sit next to him and try to make some conversation. And while making conversation, ask him if at least it is a longtime friend of his father.
He says, "Oh, what, Fishhead? No, never saw him before."
Okay. Your father seems happy with him around.
He says, "My father rules like a boss."
Indeed, he does. To your father.
He raises his cup. Surprisingly, the goblins don't fill it with alcohol, just plain, probably something like a Bloody Mary without the alcohol. Very spicy and.
Is he underage?
Yes, he's young. He's like, you think he's in giant years. He's something like 13.
Ah, okay, got it. All right.
And hold on a minute. Let's change region. That might help Brian get in.
Okay.
Sure.
From Europe?
Yeah, I'm in Europe. And just everything went black and came back to Europe.
Yeah.
Yep.
That happens every time you change region. Well, some of us change region. So
Yeah.
if you really want to troll, what are you saying? I didn't hear that. That something's wrong with the region settings. It keeps switching back and forth. I just quickly googled this problem, and that might help. Maybe doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
Is Alicia, by the way, just sitting along with the other guests, or is he standing?
No, he's standing. He's standing right next to the king, and basically watching all of you. So all of the guests are basically, they aren't happy with his with the fact that he's so close by. But they don't say anything, probably because the king has just talked to him. So.
Can I if we're still going, I think Rookby's gonna try to sit as close to the Drow's handmaid as close as possible.
Okay, so you are about to sit yourself and you bump into a goblin who stands there with a plate, and he says, "Beet salad with yogurt and slices of green apples, sir."
Where's the meat?
We are serving a selection of freshly cut salads. This is only the first dish out of 43.
Sure. Just takes a dire tray and puts it down in front of him. And does he see the handmaid? What is her name? I don't even know her name.
So she stands just behind Soulform. This is the name of the draw. So she stands just behind her with her head down, and you can see her face twitch a little bit as you approach, and you can see Soulform. She picks orange slices and basil from one of the plates. It's covered with all kinds of spring greens, and she picks it and kind of tastes it, watching you, and looking at her maid, and she smiles.
I try to like sort of whisper to the handmaiden or like elbow her like, how are you feeling? As I look around, I look at that hammer that I saw with the dwarf in it. Is there anything? Is it how do I know anything about it? Is it magical?
You can roll perception and maybe
8.
Obviously you don't identify anything magical about it. The shaft is made of some combination of stone and metal, and the head was probably solid at some point, but it was carved into a cage. You don't see a door to the cage, so this dwarf was probably magically teleported in. You do see that he's very bruised. So if the giant was kind of maybe swinging the mace or putting it on its shoulder, each time this would happen, the dwarf would get thrown and hit the walls of the cage. So it's a very unpleasant experience. But you think he's alive?
Okay. Well, I don't know if the handmaid responded.
She didn't. Solforn did. She said, "Oh, she's revived now. She feels much better." And she lifts a plate and hands it over to you and said, "You must try those white and red cabbage with carrot salad and savory lemon vinegar. It's amazing."
Rugby, just with his hand grabbed one of these cabbages. Okay. And and he begins eating one. And then he eyes the hammer if he's
Okay.
Wants to go, like maybe ask somebody to go see it closer.
Okay. You like the table is still quiet. It's very awkward because Vostorova just stepped in, so most of the guests are still silent, and the Duke is looking at all of you, kind of assessing you to see how you respond. In this awkward silence, while the goblin served the plates, and all you can hear is spoons and forks and knives on porcelain, you suddenly all hear something like Quarian, do you hear me, Quarian? Your sending stones suddenly come alive.
I reached for one of the files like, oh, I'm sorry, could you pass me that over there? Not that one, no, the other one over there, on the right, to the right of that.
Excuse me, folks. I have to go to the bathroom for a minute. I try to muffle it down with my hand, with my wrist.
Okay. A goblin, two goblins, kind of stand up in front of you and kind of show you the way to the private. To the private.
Lead on. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And when I'm like away from earshot, I try to be quiet. And then when I close the door after me, I listen in.
Okay, so
this is Quarian.
Don't be so official. It's your wife. What are you doing? You said you're on your way to Helm's Hold. What's going on?
Technically I am. Had a bit of a detour for reasons that are not my fault at all.
You hear silence, and then it doesn't involve any draw women's, ladies, or something like that, right?
Why would you ask?
Why do you sound so guilty?
Well, okay. If I said it also involves an illicit, a huge fire giant, his entire family, and 200 jailed dwarves, would that make it any better?
There's a stunned silence. And then... Okay. What about the Ring of Winter? Did you find any information about it?
Not yet. We're still en route to try to find it, but we've been way out. We hope to get out of here alive soon and be on our way there.
The Blacksmith has hired our services. There are two cloud giant castles. One of them approached Waterdeep. The other one is floating at the forest just north of it. They are preparing for some ritual. I'm sent to investigate. I'll contact you when I know something. You have to get hold of that Ring of Winter, or at least the information about it.
Okay, we'll try to speed things up here. What about Fan? How is he doing?
I had to get the landlady to watch over him. I hope he's fine.
Me too.
I was expecting you already.
I'm sorry. It's been kind of hectic here.
Okay. I'll keep in touch.
Okay. Bye. Okay, I flush and I go back to. I start walking back to the room.
Okay.
And with an apologetic smile, I say that my wife called me.
Peleus, one of the goblins approach you. Mr. Druid, vegetarian, I assume. Fresh parsley with onions?
Yeah, I guess. We don't have parsley in the woods, but that's fine, I guess.
Okay.
Does Vosdarava, what's his name?
Vosdarava.
Vosdarava. Is he, when he looks at us, does it seem like he knows us? He should. I think he saw us once.
It's very difficult to kind of assess that from his bulbous face, bluish, pinkish tentacles, and totally white eyes. He didn't even nod toward you, so.
And I don't think we actually saw him, or he saw us. Only, me seeing like a vision of him once.
So we saw, he saw us staring at him. I mean, remember, he actually looked at us while we were looking in his direction.
I don't remember that.
You could ask him for, for direction, for tips on how to take care of your submarine. Maybe that would stir something up.
That sounds like a great idea.
So we grab the flask, search the submarine, clean. We're out of here.
Yes, that's the plan. We go, get up, grab the flask, go get to deep home, get the Ring of Winter, and then we go home.
So Rugby, the owner of this hammer was the Duke or who was it?
The Duke, yes.
Yeah, I think Rugby wants to get the Duke's attention and ask him about the hammer.
Okay. So how do you do that? You simply directly ask him, or?
I think Rugby says, as he's eating, like I am right now, with food in his mouth. He says, this hammer that you have, it looks incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Matt, could you show me? Can I take a look?
Oh, of course. Look, Brimscarda. He's enjoying my hammer, and he sends his huge hand grabs the hammer. As he does that, the hammer shakes, the mace shakes, and the dwarf kind of wakes up. And then, as he kind of pulls it and lands it on the table, with its head, this huge head, lying just in front of you. All the plates kind of shake, and the dwarf gets smacked on his face, and then he raises his bleeding face and looks at you with two swollen eyes. And the Duke says, "Well, what do you think?"
This is if only I could wield such a hammer.
The dwarf looks at you and whispers something. But since he is bloody and dazed and confused, I need you to make a, let's say, a wisdom check. Kind of see if you can figure out what he's trying to say.
All right, come on. 19.
19 is amazing. He says, the flask, open the flask, my Gera. And then the hammer goes up and the Duke says, listen, I can pick it up. See what happens when I shake it. And the dwarfs gets tossed inside, and the goblins kind of, oh, well done, sir.
Wait, what did he say? What does the dwarf say?
He said, open the flask, and then something else. Margera?
Magera, yeah.
Margera. Oh, that might be the name of the Titan.
It is.
Gotcha.
The open flask is a flask and free Megara?
Probably something similar, yeah.
Like a horrible plan.
Let's do it.
Yeah. While this is going on, I would like to whisper to Peleus, Peleus, if we could distract all the others, do you think you could change into something small and steal the flask? And then just,
the hot melting, lava melting flask?
It's hard, but yeah. I'm sure you seem capable of holding on to that for a while.
A lava stuff. Maybe. I have to think about it if I can come up with something.
Oh wait, the bard was carrying it around, wasn't he?
Yes, in a special chest.
Huh. And what happened to the chest?
Good question.
Did we see? I mean, we saw the Duke taking it out of the chest, I think, right?
Yes, so it's probably somewhere in maybe the Duke's quarters or someplace. But Vandar, if you look at him, he's looking very, very miserable, and he's drowning his misery in wine. It's like...
Do you pass me a note about the chest?
Let's go talk to him. I'll sit next to him with another glass of wine, and raise to some story. I'll start telling him some stories of our past.
To who?
To Bandar.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you sit next to him. So as
I have a little bit of a question. Are potions and stuff like that generally magic? Can you dispel them, or?
So, like, can you dispel a magical effect that is caused by a potion? I think so. It's a spell. Unless it's a healing potion, I don't think you can dispel the effect of a healing potion.
Healing potion is instant, so you can't dispel it since it already happened. But if you drink a potion of flying or some other effect, then you can dispel the effect, but you can't dispel the potion. If it's before you drink it.
The item that they need for their war machine. Probably like a magical item, right?
So
or is it like a mechanical?
So the flask, what exactly did they tell you about the flask? I'm not sure.
It contains the Titan's soul.
Yes.
Okay, so
the Titan.
So the flask, as far as you understood, contains like the draw snuck into Guntelgrim, which is the dwarven, the long lost dwarven nation. They stole. Or basically, this Dawn Titan was powering the dwarves' forge. Using the flask, they kind of sucked it into the flask, and then Vandar transported it to this castle. And you believe, I think it's a conclusion you got to last time, that Duke Zalto plans to uncork it and throw it into the forge. So the forge will light up, and this will pave the way to completing the Vanidad.
I did think he mentioned that it was like the heart of the machine.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like it would power, like put it into it to power it.
Is the flask reachable from the?
Yes, it's just standing there above the forge.
I do
It
have a.
sounds vaguely magical, though, doesn't it?
Oh, you probably can't just smash it. You probably like it'll bounce. Your hammer will probably bounce right off.
No, yeah, but can I dispel it? Is the question.
You know what? I think I can actually answer that. Let me check.
I have a potion of gaseous form, by the way. So if somebody wants to grab it and run away, we definitely can.
Yeah, it was.
You can also cast invisibility.
It would be really nice if we had one of the dwarfs give one of them the potion, because one of the dwarfs. Because if one of us suddenly disappears, it's pretty noticeable.
That's where the distraction comes in. We already talked about me going all showing off the dragon,
So
Oren making illusions and telling stories about how we slew a white dragon.
I can give a gaseous potion to the dwarf.
you believe that you know what? No, you don't need to make any check. You believe that in order to release whatever is in the flask, you have to uncork it. You don't believe that a simple dispel magic will do it, but like uncorking it using a mage hand probably will work.
Really?
Yes, it's a physical action. There's no magic involved in that act. Putting someone in is a totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the magic is.
Okay. I can do that. So Brian, I don't know if Brian you're listening or not, but
He's probably shouting no, but nobody hears him. No.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Brian, I might need you to act like a broadcaster for me for a minute.
Oh, let me summarize what happened if you can still hear us right now. Can you hear us?
Then I won't continue
Yes.
typing it out.
Oh, okay.
I was just
Okay, so
Go ahead.
we think you want to go now.
No, go
Hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah, we
So
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
we're all sitting down. There's Elithid Vosderavas. I'll never say his name right. Who's just standing behind the Duke. He whispered in his ear something about he's ready or something is ready. Everybody's uncomfortable about this Elithid standing there because he's not eating. He's just standing behind the Duke. What else? Rukvi had a discussion with the Duke about his huge mace, which has a dwarf inside the head of the mace, and the dwarf told us to open the flask where the Titan is, where the Titan's soul is, and we are going to try that right now with a mage hand or something like that.
Releasing the Titan that the Fire Giant King is trying to, I don't know, harness?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
On board.
his soul or whatever, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't
It's,
know what could go wrong.
It's a signal for the dwarves to come die with us.
I have another good idea.
Another good idea? Have
Yeah,
you
yeah,
been any
yeah.
good ideas so far? I still
Um,
haven't heard a good idea.
are the
We're
dogs
waiting.
nearby actually?
The hellhounds.
Yeah, the dogs. They aren't there, they're just dogs, dude. Are they nearby, I know?
The dogs?
hell
Yes, sure. They are kind of sitting beneath the table, waiting for scraps. So you're basically sat on like a booster. So they're quite far from you, but how does I keep forgetting her name?
So these
Cinderhill.
dogs,
Cinderhill.
dogs,
She's
they
kind of
can-
feeding them with leftovers
These-
from the.
These dogs, they kind of like me. I could like make one of them destroy the bottle.
I could summon an earth elemental.
Yeah, but if the dogs do it, it's like not our fault, right? It's like their
Bad
own
dog.
dogs.
Dude, nice, yeah.
And the nose rubbed in it.
We want to do it in an inconspicuous way, so it's either Peleus's suggestion to the dogs, or me trying to mage hand open the flask.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I vote for the mage hand. I think that's
You
less
have to-
but
risky.
But as
Really?
soon as someone figures out that the vial is gone, the flask is gone, then we're the obvious suspects. But if the dogs do it, it's like
But they'll see
their
the
own
dog.
dogs. Yeah, they see it happen. They will see it happen. But it's
The dog has to uncork it, or he has to smash it because they will immediately be on that dog.
yeah.
For the sleight of hand and for the mage hand, it has to be sleight of hand. I think.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know what.
There is a gong. Kind of.
Really?
Yeah, the sound kind of vibrates throughout the hall. A goblin steps out and says, "Well, appetizers. We have fried eggplants on toasted bread with butter.
Oh, Jesus.
We have pork imported from the from the large nation of El Turel in vinegar. We have we have tiny, magnificent peppered kebabs with rosemary and yogurt, and
Oh, it takes them all.
tender lamb chops in a special sauce coined by the Cormyreans, barbecue."
That sounds really delicious. Whatever you're doing, wait a course or two.
Yes.
And at this point, Zalto stands up and
This is our chance.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to do that. We need to like light somebody's dress on fire at the same time.
So if you guys can
How big
create,
is the
like,
vial?
some sort of diversion would help.
That big around?
Yeah.
yes, it's a small
How
vial.
tall? Oh, okay.
Peleus, can you like startle the dogs? Can you make them like bark crazy at someone? Maybe it's elite, maybe.
I have dominate beast, so I can make them do whatever I want, basically.
Maybe have them like bark like crazy at the elite.
Where is it?
It's right behind the Duke.
It's
In
on
the wall,
head.
like on the wall, or
On a counter, yeah.
It's right
is the
next
counter stone?
to the furnace, isn't it?
The flask is basically sat on top of a small pedestal above the furnace.
If that flask
And
was
all
in
of
the
that's made of
furnace,
stone, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, I summon an earth elemental and I get him to earth glide up behind it and just reach his hand out and grab it, crush it.
Okay. Anyone
But
wants?
it'll be super obvious.
but don't crush it above the forge because it'll fall in there. Please.
Do you have
What's
like
wrong
a
with
portal
that?
spell so we can get out of here immediately or something?
Ooh, okay.
Well,
So
he's not. I don't know how he would know it was me, but
what uncork it? The whole idea is to uncork it, to open it. If the earth elemental can open it, it'll be even better.
yeah.
With its
Well,
like massive
crushing
finger.
it will open it.
Sure. If I see that the flask is gone, I'll immediately fast like a minor image that would replace it.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Good. So that's the plan, or do you want to do any other?
Yeah. While they're introducing the food, I'm just gonna be like, ew, gross. And I'm gonna pull my hood up and like shy away from the food, and that's when I'm gonna concentrate.
Okay.
And as that's happening, I'm gonna cast locate object on the box just in case.
Okay. Good one. So
Cool.
you cast locate object, and you immediately know the way to get it. So it's right here, actually. Someplace. I'll just someplace around that area. This corridor probably leads to somewhere you haven't explored yet.
That was at the Duke's private quarters. We
Yes.
were told that, and that was off limit.
So it's there. You and the rest, you shy away from the shocked goblin, who basically stutters. But the yogurt, sir, as you
I'll have some. Bring it over here.
So it's like the most horrendous insult to his cooking skills. So you shy away and you start cast your spell to summon the earth elemental.
I threw the crown.
Oh, amazing. And you, Galen, kind of tries to cover for it. Peleus, are you casting your Dominate Beast spell?
Do we need the beasts?
Sure.
They might be a useful distraction.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it then. I'm gonna cast Dominate Beast, and I will make them. I don't know. Should they bark at someone? I don't know.
Oh right, I had summoned the Earth Elemental in the last session to knock down that. I can't remember what it was, but I had summoned the Earth Elemental. This is within an hour of that happening, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I don't need to summon him. He's already here, but at least I can do it.
Okay.
Just chilling underneath you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you did it when we freed the dwarves.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And what other guests are there besides us?
The draw entourage. So she has, I think it was 6 warriors, and herself and her. Damn it, English.
Yeah,
the maid, her maid.
That's perfect.
2 fire giants, and his family, and the Duke's family.
That's perfect actually. I make the dogs run up to her and start barking at her.
Okay, good.
And humping her leg.
No.
Do they need to make a saving throw or something like that, or is it simply?
I don't think there's a saving throw. Oh no, it is a wisdom saving throw actually. Yeah.
Okay, so 1 failed, but I need to know the DC to tell you if the other one failed
it's
too.
17.
Okay, so 2 failures. Amazing. 9th level characters.
One you can dominate.
It must. Yeah, it's 1. That's right. You
Okay.
attempt to beguile a beast. Yeah.
That's fine.
only
So
one.
both failed it. So you can simply pick one and it starts barking like crazy on the draw. She kind of steps back, and all the table is looking at her. And the rest, you summon your earth elemental. It kind of swims through the stone and into the furnace, and it takes the flask. And at this point, Quarian, I need you to make a dexterity check just to see if you can cast.
Got an 18 plus whatever my dexterity is. Just a minute. Plus 3.
Amazing.
21.
Good. So
Nice.
a minor image of the flask appears above the furnace. And the rest, does your earth elemental uncork it?
So why are we uncorking it again? A dwarf told us.
Or the dwarf told us.
But he didn't like tell us like what would happen afterward. He just told me randomly. So whatever consequences might come out of it, who knows?
And the dwarf did probably have a concussion from being like banged around.
He had several like concussions and like just chronic brain damage. Probably.
I think we're releasing like a ghost or something.
No.
I think
No,
if
it's a
open
titan.
it, he
We are
can't
releasing a
use
Yeah,
it.
primordial
ghost.
titan that will destroy the world.
Or
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
or not.
But we won't die today, probably. Who cares?
And the rest, your
I'm
call.
just gonna get him to hold on to it and pull his arm in.
What do you mean pull his arm in?
Like underground.
Can he, if he's holding it, can he pull his arm into the stone so he's completely like submerged in the stone, carrying it?
Like,
If not, that's okay.
I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to do.
Can he wrap his fist around the vial,
Sure.
and can he pull it into the stone with him?
I
when he
don't
earth
know.
glides?
You tell me if it's something it can do. Then
I have
sure.
no idea if an earth elemental can do that. I don't know if they can take things with them.
Okay.
I think that would be a DM ruling.
I assume he can maybe, you know,
Because if he could, he
swim with his hand above the. if that's an issue.
okay. So if he can't bring it in and hide with it, then yeah, he's just gonna crush it.
Okay. Okay. So the earth elemental squeezes the vial, and then you all hear as the cork kind of flies up, and then. Rukvi, you kind of say, wait, did he say open it or don't open it? Open it or don't open it.
I'm looking at my empty wine glass.
And then
My moment is a bit rusty. Was that the word for open or don't open?
and then Quarian, you kind of as you hear that when the corks flies, you say, Magera, I have learned something about it's the Dawn Titan. So as you uncork the flask, you basically have released a piece of the sun into the hall. There is this massive like nuclear explosion. It sucks all the air and then explodes in a massive ball of fire that basically engulfs everyone in the room. So first we'll start.
Oh crap.
Awful radiation poisoning.
Yeah. So we'll start with that. So this is actually that's not a lot.
Is there a saving
I'm gonna
throw
roll
against
it.
the nuclear bomb?
No, for
I'm
this.
gonna roll the druid again, I think. You
So-
guys decided yet?
So the first this is so that's 27 points of fire damage. There is no saving throw. And
27.
27 and flammable objects in something like 60-foot radius around this creature are simply ignited. So the goblins ignite, the draw ignite, the table ignite, the dogs ignite.
Well,
And
the dog should be immune.
I think it's time to run away.
Hounds.
So the light is so strong that you all squint and you feel your flesh being burnt out of like just so some of the goblins simply kind of evaporate like if it's a real
There's a mushroom cloud in this room.
yes
There's
so
like shadows of goblins on the wall.
Yeah, just burned in the shadows of the goblin.
Yeah.
What happens to the drow with this sudden sunburst?
Yeah.
they simply collapse in place, and those of us like from the group who are still alive can barely look through because the heat is so intense it warps your sight. You can see as if you're under a pool. Everything is kind of and out of this massive ball of fire that expands to fill this whole hall. So the radius is basically 300 feet. You can see 2 eyes and a mouth that form, like sunspots. So think of a sun, but the eyes and the mouth are composed of sunspots, and they look at the earth elemental. And you all hear this roar. This creature, this basically God, says, "You have freed me. Speak, and I will fulfill your wish." And when he says wish, there's another heat wave engulfing the room. So you are about to take more damage if you simply stay here. So what do you do?
Run away.
What do you do?
Run away.
What do you do?
We have like all the Dragon Balls. Like, what do we ask this friggin' thing? Do we
is
roll
there
initiative to ask?
Is there safety within 90 feet?
This is what you ask him?
Destroy
That's what
this-
I'm asking
destroy
you.
this
Can I
castle.
see a safe place within 90 feet of me?
So if you look at the
I'm so afraid to open another window.
no, so don't. You can probably try to bolt through the main doors, which are something like I'm assuming 100 feet away from you, or you can try to bolt to the elevator and from there maybe to the private rooms. But this is the longer way. So these are basically your two options.
Doors closed?
Currently, yes, the main doors
Or
are
have they
closed.
been blown open by this powerful?
So actually, that's a good question. I'll let some of you roll a saving throw for them, see if they blast open.
Well, if that's the case, then would we have been blown all over the place as well?
No, it's just like a heat wave. There's nobody's fire, but I'll
There's no overpressure wave.
No, but I'll flow with it. It's cool, so why not?
Are we trying to succeed or fail the saving throw? Because if we're trying to fail it for the door to blow open, I'll
I-
totally roll this.
No, I just rolled, and I would like to ask the question also before I see you roll this.
You rolled a
Are we trying
one.
to fail? Are we trying-
No,
are we trying
no.
to succeed?
you-
I did not roll a one. It's totally not a one. It's unless we need a one, then it's totally a one. I rolled a one. I
So
assume it was a door's saving throw, so if they failed and they were blown open, right?
right. So poof. So they actually kind of bend because of the heat. So they are not flown open because these are like space shuttle doors. So, but there is a crack through which you, if you want, can get away.
I think I will calmly stand up, look at the door, say, "Oh, I assumed the fire giants would have better craftsmanship," and I'll just calmly walk, slowly taking my time, walk out. It's not like I bloody stand up and scream, "Ah, fire, fire, fire!" and then shaking my arms around and running towards the door. No. At least that's how I'm telling the story to my grandkids if I hopefully live through this.
Okay.
I totally scream fire,
So-
fire, fire, and run away.
Run away, run
No.
away.
I'm joining in on this.
Can I ask a mechanical question?
Sure.
So the god,
Mechanics
the
aren't real.
demigod, is asking to be commanded, and he's
One wish.
asking the earth elemental,
Yes, because
and I control the earth elemental. So can I issue the command?
yes. It's yeah, sure.
Wait, can I ask as well?
So then
We
I guess
all
what I'd
just
like to
start
do is
giving
I'd like to.
answers to our wish.
We could wish
Like the-
for like the Ring of Winter or just
Jump up on the table and like
We can wish
start
for
to run
the
towards the door. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to yell out, "Kill all the fire giants in this castle," and then leave and cast Thunder Step to the door.
Amazing. Okay, so ForGar is out, Quirin is out, Galen is out. The Drow are huddled beneath the table. They are in pain. The fire giants are so shocked. You can see basically the faces of Duke Zalto and his queen. They are immersed by the flame. I think. Fire
Pretty
damage.
sure they're immune.
They're
to fire
probably
damage.
immune.
I think they're immune to fire,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So they are in total shock, and you all bolt out. Peleus, Rukvi, what do you want to do?
I want to find the handmaid wherever her corpse
Oh,
probably is.
this is amazing. Okay, so make a perception check with disadvantage because of all of the heat and the fuzzy
Well, 11.
11. So you rush to where you saw her, and you can actually see her body lying on the floor. She's badly
And
burnt.
does it look
Make
dead or alive?
make a check. I think there's a medicine check or something like that in 5e, or maybe I'm wrong.
There's a medicine skill, isn't there? Yeah.
Yep.
Roll.
Come on, fucking natural one.
Natural one. You don't know. You try to kind of look at her and sense if she's breathing or not. You're not sure.
Rugby just panics and just casts the cure wounds on her,
Okay, her eyes flutter open.
and then I pick her up and just go to the nearest exit
You
where I
pick,
see my
you pick
friends
her,
going.
pick her up, you turn around, and then you feel like someone has slitted basically the back of your like English just below
Hamstring.
what?
Knife into my kidney or something.
The hamstring.
Yes.
On the legs.
So and you kind of limp. Looking back, you can see the dwarf priestess. She's all burnt. She's lying on the floor, and in her hand there is a poisoned dagger. Is being used by the dwarf. And she looks at you, and she tries to, and then she falls. You limp your way out of the castle. Peleus?
I will follow Rugby actually
Okay.
and help him if he
And the rest.
has to carry something.
Sure, amazing. So you all are out. Endorist, you stand on the table. You command this fire titan, this dawn god. He looks at you and says, "Get out."
Thunderstep.
Okay.
And send that vinegar pork flying.
As you all step out of the castle running, you see something amazing. You get back to where you all, where basically Vandar parked his carriage, but the carriage is not there anymore. Vandar is not there anymore. You hear the giants kind of start to gather the wits and start a chase. As you emerge into the yard, you look up and you can see something red, something draconic above you. And you're sure this is a dragon, but no. It is a flying ship that slowly lands. It's got wooden wings spread like that of a dragon, and its forefront is in the head of the gaping maw of a dragon. But on top of it, you can see men wearing black robes and draconic masks. They look down at you as they maneuver the ship downwards, and the ship is basically hung in midair by this huge red balloon, which now you think about it, you have seen something reddish in the skies every now and then. So this ship is hovering down. A rope ladder is being lowered, and someone, a feminine voice, shouts, "Come on, get up! Let's get out of here!"
Wait a minute.
Can I ask a question to the...
I scream over. Can I scream over to the dwarves to get out? This is the sign! This is the sign! Get out!
So you scream. Who is getting up?
I would like to put out the fire on myself before I get up there.
Sure, you want to wait that long?
I put out the fire on myself. You did say me.
Yeah, I know.
The flames. So
I'm
yes, I want to
very
take action
wounded.
to put myself out of. Put
I
out
think
all
that
the ropes
action
so
is
that,
called stop, drop, and roll.
Yes.
Is that a movement action? Can you just roll the way there?
Yeah,
It's
Monk
okay.
probably can.
if
But
you if you don't mind your honor, then sure.
I don't care. I'm weak, sick, and very injured from that. Very far behind the rest of you, unless someone's gonna help me just for the sake of role playing. Is anyone gonna help
My
me?
lord,
I'll help
my
you.
lord, I'll help you.
Yeah,
ForGar, what? We were enemies before. That's
I
amazing.
know, but
ForGar's
I don't
help. So just for dramatic purposes, I think that's amazing.
right?
We exit the keep. I'll command my elemental to go rescue the dwarves.
Okay, so your earth elemental bolts in. The ship flies up with you on the rope. You can hear voices
ForGar.
shouting, "Up, up, up, up! Come on, go!"
Brookby immediately tries to put the handmaid, just fucking throws her up.
Yep.
I tell her, give it to me. I grab her and I do like a misty step up.
Okay.
A dimension door.
Nice.
I dimension door up to the ship with her.
Amazing. So you are up, surrounded by those black-hued robes, and they have masks of black, white, red, green dragons on them. They help all of you up, and then just as the ship starts to fly off, Duke Zalto bursts through the double door. He looks super angry, but he doesn't do anything. He simply stands there and looking up at you as you hover up and up. And when the ship reaches something like the height of 300 or 400 feet, then Iron Slag, this massive fortress, explodes.
Nice.
The ship shudders. People are screaming, shouting. They are running for the ropes, running for their repair kits. They are maintaining the direction and the tilt of the ship. And there's this huge volcanic eruption that comes from below and explodes through the top of the castle, bathes all the mountain with lava. You are pretty sure that nothing non-resistant to fire survived inside there.
Dwarfs are dead.
Damn.
We saved them. They're free.
Yeah, that's right. We saved them.
And it
Now,
worked.
you know,
Is any dwarf running out?
Querin, since you're looking, I needed to make a perception check.
It's 22.
22 is amazing. You don't see any dwarf getting out, but out of the billowing smoke, you think you saw something flying out. Something purplish, looking like a squid with wings, that is flying out, and you think it was more mechanical than fleshy.
This is like a Batman. Okay. I try to pull the attention of some of the people around her to look at this to check this vehicle out. Is it something that we can chase with the ship, or is it too fast for us?
So you are stopping someone. He is looking at you, and then all of the masked figures are looking toward one actually short, slender figure wearing greens. She walks up to you, and then she removes the mask, and you can see a short-haired, freckled half-elf woman. She looks at you and smile and says, and then she points at ForGar and says, if this is his command, we'll chase that vessel. Or we may sail wherever you want to go.
I look at ForGar and say, what have you not been telling us?
And all these people, the masked people, turn to you.
Oh fuck.
I'm leaning heavily on you. I'll break away from you so that you can have the adoration.
Yeah, I'll step back as well.
Okay, so think about the reply.
Against the mast
I'm going
leading.
for a break, break, and I'm back in a minute.
Sure.
Dude, that was like perfect.
Feeling hands on
frame.
myself.
Like helicopter leaving, the explosion, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ForGar, before you decide, I'm going to tell you what my wife told me before in my conversation with her. That they need to Ring of Winter really soon because there are 2 floating castles around Waterdeep right now. One of them reached Waterdeep, another one is not far from there, and they're probably doing some sort of ritual. And the Blackstaff thinks that they really need a Ring of Winter as soon as possible. So maybe chasing this at least is a second.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna chase the Illithid. I'm pretty sure that we will run into that asshole again. I feel
also-
like he's.
And also, what did you do? Why is this cult of Tiamat following you around?
I'm guessing that there's a floating little pixie dragon. Is that what they're called? Fairy dragon?
Fairy dragon.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe his stuff.
You don't.
I don't know. I've never seen this before.
Tiamat cult for sure. They've got all the different colors.
Yeah, it's
Colors, right? Is that what he said? Red, white.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
totally the description of the cultist from Tyranny of Dragons,
Yeah.
the adventure. Yeah.
Yes, I am listening.
Dang.
We
Yeah, good
have
now.
decided to let
Respect
him
for you,
go.
ForGar.
Mm.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we have decided to let the Illithid go, and we're gonna continue to hunt down this Ring of Winter. I don't remember where it's supposed to be though.
Depot.
So one of your destinations, possible destinations, was Helmshold, where a prisoner is being held, supposedly holding the information where the Ring of Winter is. This is where Harshnag wanted you to go. So that's one place to go, but you can decide otherwise.
The cleric that we kidnapped, who's the son. All right.
Yes, the son of Artus Cimber was kidnapped there.
That's him in Helmshold. Is that what we think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe our goal should be Helmshold.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And,
before.
We might
also
need to follow
Andres
the
can visit his
storyline.
mother there.
Okay.
His mother.
She was sick and being treated there, I believe.
Oh.
Side quest from 10 sessions ago.
I mean, you should tell your mother
My
to.
retainers are there.
You should tell them to remove your mother from the town because I mean a bunch of adventurers are coming in. So
Okay, so the woman, the half-elven woman, goes up to you, ForGar, and she says, "My name is Captain Zandala, and I am at your service, my king."
to who? To ForGar?
To ForGar.
I think you
Really
should tell
hard.
him.
I think ForGar beats us.
I think he's frozen, like the.
He's not moving much.
And now he's shouting, "No, no, no!"
Like,
But that's totally perfect role-playing game. You're just standing there.
yeah, jaw open.
Meanwhile, I would be checking up on this woman whose name I gotta know her name. I'm gonna randomly generate a name.
I think it's somewhere in Roll20 in your character's background.
I don't think I gave her a name in my background.
Okay, so you probably should.
Connected to you?
Anybody needs some dire healing set for myself?
Yeah, like house or this. Sometimes
Healing?
Hmm?
Back
Yeah,
up.
anybody need? Yeah, I'm gonna heal myself. Anybody else need some healing?
I have 7 health. And I have
7 health, so you're fine.
I have 7 health too. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna use cure wounds on myself.
Really? I that weak? I mean, no. Galen is totally not considering if he should kill the rest of the party right now for his new Dark Lord. That whole his. Yeah, I'm sure I could trade 5 adventures for one lousy soul.
Anders, how bad are you?
70 actually. 70.
At about half now because I healed myself. 15.
But I could also use some healing before I start the. I mean, no. nothing bad.
GPK. I like him now.
Oh, you didn't like me before?
For now. He's got a lot of dimensions.
Hey, my character sheet still says I'm lawful good.
It's great.
And the DM laughs. That's a good sign.
So wait, so how is this handmaiden connected to Rookvi?
Rugby fell in love with her or something at some point. And then she disappeared and he chased after her, and then that's how he got kidnapped and enslaved, and that's how he became an adventurer.
If she's dead, I can bring her body back for you.
No. She's alive. I got her.
All right.
No thanks.
Ow.
You could hold hands and stare into the sunset. Control, but
Yeah, Ruby's asking her like, are you
does
alright?
somebody have a TV on in the background?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Roommates.
Somebody
Yes.
asked a question.
Welcome back, James.
All hail the new king.
He heard that.
Wait, I'm the king.
Yes, you are.
You are. Yes, she did say exactly that.
I didn't hear anything that she said. I froze
Oh.
the second I said anything, and
Oh.
that's where it stopped.
Oh,
I sat there
thought-
for a minute like, wait,
She-
is this a dramatic pause?
So she said, the Star Chaser is at your service, my king. My name is Captain Zandala. At your service.
And his computer crashed again in shock.
Yeah, right. Okay, the Star Chaser?
The Star Chaser, correct. Or a
This is
star.
gonna become
uh,
like a what is it called? Spelljammer or something?
Spelljammer, yes, please.
And she says, I've set course to Helm's Hold, according to your command, sir.
Fantastic.
Your rooms are ready.
How do you know me again?
She looks at you.
The head got shaken a little with that giant explosion. Just,
She looks at you quizzically, like, whoa, seriously? And then she says, you are my king.
yeah, totally. Right, yeah, that's it for sure. Cool.
Were you secretly a prince or something?
I don't know. Apparently, they think I am.
I wanna like inside roll them to figure out like
Go
what
for it. Yes,
what
sure.
intentions.
Sure.
If they seem like legit people or not. Okay, 27.
You think they are very legit. It seems like every time one of those men in masks pass around you, they don't mind kind of, touching shoulders with you as they pass by. But when it comes to ForGar, they take a wide circle around him. And it seems like Captain Zandala is fixated on him. She kind of awaits his every word, what he's going to say, how can I please him? And you think it's more of a reverence than like blind admiration.
I have a feeling that like eventually down the line he will get like thrown into a volcano as a sacrifice to the dragon god or whatever, but I'm fine with this. So,
Meantime,
Fine with
let's use this. Let's capitalize on it.
yeah.
Let's go
Good
rest
man.
for stars. Yeah.
Like the silent nod.
Cool.
Rukvi, what did you asked me something about your girlfriend?
I think he's asking her if she's alright, if she's still acting like weird. Out of character. I'm trying to figure out if she actually died and if that broke the.
So you don't think she had died? You think she's probably still bonded to that creature. You do know that demons, even if their physical form is destroyed in this plane of existence, that doesn't mean anything. They are probably banished for a long time, but they can definitely return. So the bond is still there, if that's what you're asking.
I think Rugby just tells her like, all right, well, now we're gonna find her. We're gonna kill her. And I think he does like a paladin oath type thing. He bends a knee and like, oath, like it's my oath. I will find her, and I will kill her. Like he probably changes to like vengeance paladin if that's up.
So she looks desperate, but her eyes kind of glow when you strike that pose and project that confidence. So she seems lacking words here. So she's happy about it, but she's still desperate.
She's probably just like, I just want to sit down and like have a glass of water.
So the people who run the ship basically can take you downstairs. There is each of you has a room prepared. So you have blankets and beds and food and water and any refreshment if you want. You know, the things to fix your clothing and wash yourself. The ship
Some new
is
clothes, yeah, would be good.
yeah, the ship is well equipped. Captain
Somehow
Zandala.
my old set of clothes got burned. I don't know how that happened. And the rest.
Captain Zandala approaches you, ForGar, asking, once you get to Helmshold, what are your commands, my king?
We're going to, I guess, need to find somewhere safe to hide this, or I don't know, unless you have good face there with your really interesting flying dragon ship. And then we're on the hunt for the Ring of Winter to help prevent all of this. Pointing back at the giant mushroom cloud that's still seen in the distance.
Okay.
Other than that, I will have to talk with my friends here and come up with a solid plan, and I'll let you know when we've got that.
So when you say we need to hide this vessel, she looks confused and she says, this ship is more than capable of defending itself. Don't you remember when we fought Kedris, Eater of All, when we defeated Paviak, the Lord of Fire, and we've quenched Konas, the Champion of Dragons? We fought many battles on this ship together.
Right, yeah, those. Totally remember that. It's not that I don't think the ship can defend itself. It's that we're trying to keep this secret and on the down low. Then we'll gather our forces and attack afterwards. Later.
She seems confused. Do you want to try kind of bluff your way around you being not sure what she's talking about? Or are you?
Yes.
Yeah, so you should roll.
Yes. Alright. I'm guessing deception.
Yeah.
That is a 19.
19 is good. She smiles, reassured, and says, that's fine. Memory should not fail people, but you, sir, is not people. And then she motions to downstairs and says, would you like dinner, maybe? Refreshments? Food? Wine?
Yes, please. That would be fantastic. I'm very thirsty. It was super hot out there. Yeah.
And she smiles and said, well, I have pulled you off many dangerous situations, but erupting a volcano on top of fire giants, that was a first, sir.
Always trying to up the ante a little and make it bigger and better than last time.
Should I expect similar fate cast upon Helmshold by your hands?
I hope not. This was sort of a last-ditch effort.
Very well, sir. She tells you that the trip will take something along 4 to 6 days, depending on wind conditions and any trouble along the way. And you can spend it wherever you want. She will notify you and your friends when you arrive at sight from Helmshold.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay, what do you guys want to do with the time you have on your hands?
Does anyone have remove curse in their spellbook?
I definitely can. Yeah, I got it. I
Yeah,
got it
maybe you
prepared
could
too.
try that on your friend, on the handmaiden.
I think I already did.
To get helm sold?
Pardon?
Sorry.
To get the helm sold.
6 days is
4
what
to
he said.
6 days.
4 to 6.
Hmm.
I would like to rest and meditate on level 10.
Oh yeah, how much XP was like a castle full of fire giants item?
A level 10 worth of XP.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
I think I'm going to, before the captain takes us down, I'm try to, or maybe afterwards, I'm going to try to talk to her and tell her that this flying contraption that we saw, this purple flying contraption outside, it might come back to us. So even though we're not chasing it, be on the lookout for it because it might return. And sometime during those days, I'd like to try to like gather information about what they think ForGar did, but to hear their stories about King ForGar.
Okay.
Cool, because I'm then gonna go find you and try and figure out what these guys think of me.
Exactly.
She woke up. I gotta go. Doesn't look like she's gonna go back to sleep. I may be back. I may not. We'll see.
All right.
Okay.
In case I come back. Yeah.
See ya, Brian.
Bye, Brian.
Keep your camera on so I won't have to.
He did,
Amazing.
and he's already gone.
Good.
Nice.
Nice of him. No, no,
Nope.
no, no. Don't.
He muted it, I think.
If it's
It's
muted,
just
fine.
black on my.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
Don't-
we're back.
Don't shut your camera. It will miss my layout.
Let me just try to see if I can click on. Oh, did I just click on the turn? No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'll just be resting, meditating, trying to figure
Um,
out how
so-
the hell did I get into this situation
So,
during this trip.
Quarian, when you ask Zandala about the ship or the thing that you've seen emerge from the volcano, she says, on normal circumstances, I wouldn't mind skirmishing with the Illithid, but their Farak Shangal ships are notorious for being hard to track and harder to fell. And when
Shangar?
this is the name they call their scout ships.
Okay.
Whoever was in that fort when you annihilated it, is a high-ranking officer, we can say, in the Illithid armies.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
How do you think you survived such a volcano burst?
She says magic, probably.
A wizard did it.
thanks, Captain Obvious.
I want to go to Corian after he's done speaking and say and ask him. This is probably one of the first couple days we're there. About the dragon soul that was split amongst us, and we're in a ship full of like TMI cultists. I wonder what that means exactly. Will it be good or bad if we showed them that?
If we show them the tattoo?
Yeah, because they might be like, awesome, we think you're great, or they might be like, awesome, you're our enemies, or they might be awesome, we need to sacrifice you to bring him back. Like, who knows what they might actually want to do. So
Awesome, no matter what.
Comes to you concerned.
I don't know. I really don't know anything about these guys. I don't know if we should be like spilling the beans so fast.
Rukvi, Since you brought up that dragon soul thing, you kind of find it weird that the ship was readied for ForGar and his 5 companions. Like, they don't have rooms for the maid, and so it's just for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, Rugby then. So then Rugby goes and asks them. And he shows him his tattoo, you know, on his left butt cheek, as we established, right, a couple of sessions ago. Excuse me, what is this?
and they all and they come to kiss your butt. No. She looks at you and says, it's the mark of the spirit.
Spirit.
And then she again looks confused, and she looks at ForGar again and says, you haven't gone through the ritual yet.
No, I don't think I have. Been busy. What? Has it been 3 weeks? It's been a busy while since that happened.
So when you say that, all the people are kind of frozen in place for a minute. She then goes to one of the masked figures who is wearing a black mask, and she whispers something to him angrily. If you want to hear what, you need to make perception rolls.
Yes.
Can I as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Crit.
6.
So Rukvi, you hear that she's angry at him, saying, "Fool, what year did you bring us to?" He basically shakes, and then he tells her like the year, which is according to my last record is 1488 DR. She kind of shudders, and then she goes back to Rukvi and she says, "This changed nothing. Past, present, or future, King, we are still at your command."
Dragon cults from the future. I need to go to sleep.
She does turn to you, and as you go to sleep, she puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "But I am very sorry for your loss." And then she leaves downstairs.
For your loss, she says?
Yes.
I think for the rest of the trip, Rugby tries to gather as much information about the infernal creature that is bound to this. I think her name should be Xena.
The warrior princess?
That's the first thing that came to my head for some reason.
Okay.
I want to try and pray to my god to see if I can get some information about what the hell is going on right now. I want to see if maybe he'll let me in on this secret that is so extravagant I don't even know about.
Okay. So is it a special spell, or is it just a prayer, or?
I think it's just a prayer. I don't know of any special spells that I can do to talk with my god.
Okay.
There is a commune spell. I don't know if you have access to that.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can ask like a simple yes/no questions, or get yes/no answers to some questions, like 3 questions, something like that. I can't remember. And my book is in the other room, and I'm lazy to actually get up and get it.
What? How dare you not want to get up and get it? It's a level 5 spell.
So
I do
can
not
you
have
cast
level
it?
5 spells.
Even
No.
okay.
Maybe. I don't know what.
Yeah,
My book's in the other room.
level.
Oh, how dare you leave it in the other room?
What are you, a paladin?
Yeah.
Let me check for you. If you on your 10th level can actually do this. Spell.
It's a cleric spell.
It's a cleric spell?
Yeah.
But I need to see. Wait. Classes. Paladin. On your 10th level. Oh, come on. 10th level, you can cast up to 3rd level spells.
Yeah. So I can't do that, then it's just gonna be a real epic prayer.
Okay. So you actually, let's say that when you kind of pray, sweat a lot, and repeat the prayer, try to get something, you fail to have to get any response. But during that night, your sleep is haunted by nightmare, and the one that woke you up was basically you, all wearing red metal armor that is twice your size. So basically the Hulk's armor.
Drowning in it.
Yeah, many spikes and it's obviously of an alien design. You have never seen something like that. You basically look like a metallic dragon, and you hold your fist above this pit that is, it seems bottomless, but all around this pit, like this pit is huge, there are draconic heads swirling, white, red, green, blue, black, and the shriek of those heads woke you up. And you seemed like you are about to drop something into that pit.
That was weird.
Okay.
Don't think that helped clear anything up.
Good.
Good.
Do I notice the cut from the knife that the drow woman did on me getting bad?
So it did get purplish and then reddish, but with a few healing spells, you believe that it's gone. But the wound refuses to heal properly, so it keeps opening up. Each time you put on your boot, it continues to bleed, so something is off there.
I'm going to cast so I know that I'm immune to disease as a paladin, but I think I have protect from poison. Yeah, I can remove any poison basically that I have on me. So I try that to see if it gets better.
Yeah, so you don't feel bad. Obviously, you're not sick and you're not poisoned, but the wound simply, there's no mechanical effect to that, but it simply refuses to heal. So it kept open and bloody and unpleasant.
Lesser restoration, remove curse, just applying all the things.
With this. Just pump you full of magic healing.
So if you cast lesser restoration, that removes it.
There you go.
Okay.
How many people are on this ship?
Good question.
Except for us.
You think it's a host of 10 people, not including Captain Zandala.
Alright, so about 12 people. Is it like a huge ship? Is it?
It's a big one. Yes, it's not small. It's made of basically wood in the form of a dragon, but the scales that cover the body of the dragon and its wings are masterfully done. And you believe that under the wings and through the head, basically, of the ship, some form of weapons are concealed. But you can't get a good look at them.
That's awesome. So if there's just like 10, 12 people, then it shouldn't be too hard to walk around without being watched all the time. Right?
Sure, yeah, and you don't feel that they watch you all the time. You don't feel as if they are, you know, lurking around. If you need privacy, they'll give it to you.
I was actually trying to, I think, make me like breach their privacy and start snooping around their cabins.
You can definitely do that. No problem. Now, what do you hope to learn, or what do you want to learn?
I want to see if there any journal, specifically for the captain or her first mate or something like that, that I can find and read. I'll do it while I'm invisible.
Okay, that's interesting. So sure, you can cast invisibility and try to sneak into the captain's quarters.
May I say that, Corian? I would have told you about the dragon talking about being from the future.
Okay.
You've told me?
I would have told you, and I would have told. Rugby doesn't hold back.
That's fair.
One question I do, or several, but if in this world did the Avengers, that like the Tyranny of Dragon, did that happen?
What?
With
Sorry?
The Tyranny of Dragon quest. Did that happen in this world?
Yes.
The adventure.
So
a cult did try to summon Tiamat, and
you don't know anything about it. Unless you were actively kind of in the news. It was in the news that dragon cultists suddenly appeared, and there was some calamity around it, but you haven't heard
They did raid most of the smaller towns.
Correct.
The South Coast.
Yeah, so this is what you know, but you don't know what happened and like how it ended. Did they succeed? Did they fail? You don't know.
No. But do we know like how they looked?
You heard stories about masked cultists, yes.
So maybe cultists that looked like this. Yes. Well, Galen doesn't care. But the others might care about that information.
Weren't we actually sent to kill cultists? Are these like the same cultists that were sent to kill by the demon who tried to the demon from the painting? We were supposed to go and kill someone in Netheril or Lord Netheril, something like that.
In a swamp.
In a swamp. Different cultists?
I assume so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
What is the name of this cult?
It's the Cult of the Dragon.
Oh, not Black Dragon.
And
so
Tiamat, all the evil dragons.
Right.
But when you snoop around their activities, they are mainly busy maintaining the ship. They do make a big fuss around not being seen without their masks on, but they seem like you don't get a sense of, these are serial killers that someone forced into action. They are, people who are working to maintain the ship, and they look up to their captain, and they give you all the space that you need, and if you ask something or request something, they do whatever they can to help you. Obviously you are all of great importance to them, but ForGar is kind of revert like.
Okay. All right.
At the captain's quarters, I do need you to make a stealth check, or not a stealth check, maybe like a sleight of hand check to kind of unlock the. Unless you have a better way of sneaking in, that's fine.
To open the door, or to do what?
Yeah, to open the door. It's obviously locked.
Oh, okay. So, I don't think I have any good way to open it. Sleight of hand. I have sleight of hand, but it's not pick lock, so I can't really pick it long.
No, you can. I think everyone can try to pick a lock. The DC is simply harder, or maybe you can.
Lock picks.
Oh, okay. That's the thing.
But you can do it without being proficient in it if you have lock picks.
I don't think I don't have any lock picks. It's a good idea to buy them.
A simple lock to hold the mighty Quarian. How did that happen?
Could you mage hand through the door and unlock it from the other side? Yeah.
I can try.
No, it
You
doesn't.
could just make like improvised lockpicks, like get a hairpin, like what?
I mean, you got long hair. You probably have hairpins.
You do have, of course you do.
right?
You're
Wait a minute.
almost as beautiful, luscious long hair as Mandar. Although I don't know how it looks now after being in that fireball.
Might be a little
in
singed.
That second insane fire that happened after the explosion last
Yep.
session.
How about, is the door like, does it have like some window, or is it something I
Yes.
can peek through?
Yeah, sure.
Then I'll dimension door inside while I'm invisible.
So what?
I'll cast dimension door to get myself inside.
You find yourself in the captain's room. You see two things that are interesting. One is it's like a regular ship's captain's room. There are maps everywhere. The table is basically littered with them, and if you kind of follow them, you have a thing with map, right? You've seen maps also at the Remorseless. So
Yeah.
you can see that the course of the ship is basically, it was crisscrossing the northern reaches just probably to find you, because you now can correlate all those sightings of that red stain somewhere in the sky with the ship. So it was looking for you for quite a while. What you find strange is that the map that this ship is brandishing, they don't look quite as the maps that you are familiar with. So some of the border lines are quite different, and there's this huge kingdom in the north that is called, wait, I'll tell you exactly.
ForGar land.
Yeah!
ForGaria.
Yeah! Even better.
It's called, it's got a name. Wait for it. A second, I'll find it.
That's okay.
I
I'm actually trying to see if there's any letter with orders that she got or something like that. Something that tells her what she needs to do.
Where is it?
Whatever I say.
I'm trying to see if there's another hidden meaning to all this.
I'm sure there's a lot of letters from ForGar saying, like, don't trust Corin, whatever he says, don't trust him, report everything to me, and be ready. When I say the command, get rid of the others.
Yeah, totally.
That sounds like ForGar.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Come on.
Feel like I should be singing Jeopardy.
ForGar, make a name. Oh, here it is. No, it's not that. Not that. I can't find it. I had it here, but I can't find it. I'll find it. I'll send you the name. A Mighty Kingdom. No, I can't find it. Sorry. I'll find it.
Okay.
So it's like it's covering all the north, including Bryn Shander and the Sea of Moving Eyes and all the mountains just below it. So it's a huge chunk of land, and it does sound something like ForGaria or something like that. So yeah, you can assume it belongs to ForGar, and it does seem like there are like plans of attack and arrows that mark like specific sites that are under the protection of what appears to be dragons, and you do see that you do find like this journal. You don't have a lot of time to kind of shuffle through it, but you do learn that the destruction of Iron Slag in a mighty explosion basically started a chain of events that culminated in the dragon's reign across the land, because the one thing that was supposed to stop them, the Vanidad, the dreadful Vanidad, was destroyed finally. So this triggered their ability to kind of take on the land and expand, and a certain dragonborn basically used this to rally his draconic friends, the dragonborn of the Sword Coast, to form an army, and he got recruited by this mighty dragon, and from here to there there is a mighty draconic nation at the north of Faerun. So that's kind of in like, you know, hurried reading and trying to figure out what's going on. So aside from that, you do see a staff that is basically standing erect in the middle of the room. It is not moving, like, and it's not supported by anything. Its top is a dragon's claw, and there is a sphere in the middle, but it's cracked, so half of it is missing. And inside this cracked sphere there is what you can only describe as a swirling time. So
Awesome.
like reality itself is swirling into this vortex inside of it. So this is what you see when you pick inside.
Can I? All right. Can I make? I'm guessing. Okay, I'm guessing this is just what they are using in order to move through time. So as I said, was there any documents other than that that is clear on, that is like left openly on the table or inside one of the drawers that I can?
So you kind
easily
of
find?
do it very, very quickly. Make a investigation check.
I got a natural 20.
Natural 20 is amazing.
23.
Hello?
Yeah, so you do find a ring, and it's a black ring, and it has this strange symbol on it. It looks like the head of an octopus.
Uh-huh. Can I do like an Arcana check to see if I know what this is?
So you have seen this symbol in the Illithid submarine when you opened up this map kit that led you to the Remorseless. So you found that ring, and there are instructions to basically send you, and there are descriptions of you to wherever you need in order to make sure the giant's plan fail. This is it.
Okay. I'm
You
going
can't
to.
win.
So I'm leaving it there, and I'm going to teleport out of the room when I see nobody's outside, and go back to
Wait.
somewhere where I can.
Wait,
Hmm?
the session must
Okay.
end
Oh.
in a
Oh, okay,
cliffhanger.
okay.
So
Alright.
you teleport outside, and you come face to face with Zandala.
Damn.
And
Hi
this is where we'll end the session.
Okay.
That's good timing for me to come back. Great. I only missed half the session today.
So
we need
just
to go back to the future.
Yeah, so just to quickly summarize that for you, Anderist, you kind of found out that this ship is from the future. An event that started by the destruction of the Vanidad basically removed the obstacle from the dragons to expand. This was the only weapon that held them from going over and taking over the world. So this event triggered their expansion. The maps from the future portray this giant draconic nation spreading all around the north of Faerun. And the orders, this is what Queren was trying to figure out. What is Zandala doing here? Her order is to help you make sure the giants' plans fail. And if you are a little bit of a history, giants and dragons have always been in a war. So the balance of powers, this is basically what held them both at bay. But now with the giants and the Vonidod taking a big blow, Zandala is ordered to make sure you do not fail in your mission.
We're doing so poorly that the GM sent us people from the future to guide us in the right direction.
Yep.
On the contrary, you have succeeded immensely in helping the dragons.
Go
Yeah.
dragons!
Go dragons.
Except for their
Oh, we are trying to fight the giants.
horde spreading over.
So next session will so as Querian kind of faces Zandala, you have been notified that the walls of Helmshold are approaching, so they're on site. So we'll start the next session with Querian and Zandala exchanging glances, and you thinking about what do you want to do in Helmshold.
Okay.
It's not like they can stop us. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, 10th level.
Awesome.
Amazing. Ooh, amazing. This is getting more and more interesting, I have to admit.
Yep.
ForGar 10th level is very, very simple. We only get Aura of Courage. That's pretty much it. And some health.
Yay! Friendly creatures within 10 feet cannot be frightened while you are conscious. Sick.
Sick.
Yeah, I
that's
guess
very useful.
something like that.
Okay, guys. So
Ooh, this is where I get my ability score improvement or my feat. Right.
yeah, 10th level should be interesting. Like
Yep.
interesting things happen.
What
Ryan
to
is-
do?
Ryan is multi-classing, so he's all weird.
Level as a sorcerer, so.
Good, good. So yeah, as always, think about what you did, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, see
Sounds
you.
good.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
Every-
Have a good
every-
one.
everything went perfectly as planned.
Yeah,
What are the
I
odds?
definitely intended to be king.
Yeah,
Such a
that's
cinematic episode.
that's a huge promotion. Like you jumped over so many levels.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. I am now immune to diseases and poison.
Getting interesting.
Does
So-
losing your soul count as one of those?
It's only my body. It is called purity of body. I don't need a soul to have the perfect body.
Good point.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. See you in 2 weeks' time. Bye bye. Good night. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye
Bye. Good night.